Hey folks, welcome back to the Leeds View podcast, first one of the week and Christmas week. So happy Christmas or Merry Christmas to everybody. And if those watching on YouTube, excuse the little bits of red that are float around the edges of this. It is Christmas, so unfortunately red's a dominant colour and I couldn't find blue ones, so we're going with the red. But I hope you're all having a really good Christmas week and spending it with your families, enjoying yourselves, and your Christmas shopping's all ready and done, so you're not leaving it too late. But we've got a little bit of football to talk about as well. Not as much as we normally talk about in a Christmas period, but I am delighted to be joined by Gerry McNamee. My Paul is on duty somewhere else. I won't say it's at the swimming pool because he'll get in trouble for that again. But he's somewhere else. He's not here tonight. But we will have also a bonus pod out before the weekend, around the weekend, Saturday, likely before the game against Sunderland. But I wanted to talk to Gerry and have a little chat about what's been a phenomenal few weeks for Leeds, a word that I have overused in every single review of this game so far. But Gerry, not a bad weekend by Leeds United standards, was it?
I was pretty good under the lights against the best away team in the division. And yeah, we thoroughly deserved that. Every man did his bit, and who would have thought it was a few months or so ago that we'd be in this position? Yeah, we're not safe by any means, but going in the right direction. 6 points off bottom three, and you'd have taken that. My God, you would have taken that. And a relatively not busy Christmas period coming up, and we got to feel confident. Teams got to be looking at us and thinking, I don't like playing these. And now we've got our new right winger in Joe Rodoni. He's great. Yeah, what a player. He's lightning fast. Hey, we can adapt. We've got tactics that can move around and change. We got this young American lad who we've always said he's brilliant. That Brendan Aronson, always said he was brilliant. Brendan, you really put it up an awful lot of us who criticised you, and you probably deserved it. In fairness, it's always credit and criticism where it's due, but we were just talking off air. Give us probably up there as man of the match. He was excellent. He was busy. He was a pain in the backside for them. All the things we want him to be, and gives him confidence, and it's good for us. Anybody who doesn't want Brendan to do well, always want players to do well. We were always frustrated, and I was surprised he was back in the team. And you thought, "Oh, this is a gamble." I paid off. Like a lot of Farke's, I wouldn't say gambles, but decisions are really working at the moment, and long may it continue, and let's get bigger gap between us and more teams in between us and the bottom three.
Yeah, it'd be great. And it's interesting when you look at the league table now, as you say, 6 points off the bottom three, 5 points off 10th. So the league is getting incredibly tight. And if Leeds can still pick, I'm not set on the news today, and I'll clarify it again. I don't want Daniel Farke to bring it up in a press conference. I'm not saying Leeds United are heading towards the top 10. But there is a lot of teams that could be dragged into this, is what I'm getting at. So we've given ourselves a hell of a shot in the arm and a chance, Gerry. And 4 weeks ago, we sat here and we talked about the Villa game coming up. And myself, you and Paul went back and watched it today. And I think there was a general consensus amongst the three of us of target Aston Villa for points, survive Villa and Chelsea, and maybe nick something against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Obviously, Villa didn't go the way we wanted. It wasn't a great time, but then the Man City is the jump in the arm that kickstarts the entire season for Leeds. And then you go and you beat Chelsea, you get a draw against Liverpool, then you go and you beat Palace this weekend as well. On top of that, get a draw away to Brentford. And the away record needs to be improved. That's going to be the one, especially this weekend coming up against Sunderland. We have an opportunity with their players. But at that time, and again during the Villa game, we talked about, I think that the heading on the podcast was acceptance or apathy. Is this the way it's just going to be for Leeds? And we talked about something needing to change, either the approach, the tactics, the personnel, or the formation changed, or if that didn't change, then the manager needed to change. And Daniel Farke from the second half in that Manchester City game changed everything about Leeds. And he changed it again against Liverpool slightly. He tweaked it again against Brentford slightly. And then we saw a 3-4-3 against Crystal Palace. And again, as you say, Joe Rodon operating as a right winger. So Daniel Farke has given those who weren't happy with the way things were going, us included, what we wanted, which was change and flexibility and lack of predictability. And it's been just fantastic to watch these. And that performance against Crystal Palace is probably one I enjoyed. And I probably got a little excited after the game, but I enjoyed it so much because you just felt like Leeds could score when they went forward. And I don't remember Leeds United in the Premier League. We're only 11 or 12 points off our total for the season that we got relegated from the Premier League in as well. So it's just been a massive turnaround. And again, that tactical flexibility, Brendan coming in instead of Tanaka, and that was going to be the talking point. But then you look at the performance that Brendan puts in, and everyone to a man just worked their socks off. But the flexibility has been a huge part of this, Gerry, in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, and players getting back into form as well. I mean, Ampadu was somebody again who we concerns about, and he wasn't on top form, and he maybe wasn't tracking back. We talk about man of the match. He was the man of the match on Saturday for me. I don't actually know who got it, but his ability, move going forward, winning tackles, just winning those crunch tackles that get the crowd going, and having a bit about him, leaving stuff on players, and he scored a goal. He's only scored 2, both against Peterborough in the cup, and he's not running. He has the odd shot, but Fox in the box, and he was there. Stack's another one. He concerns, and he was dropped for a couple of games back. He's making those runs forward. Big awkward. Somebody compared him to Declan Rice. I think he's probably better and probably got more morals than Declan Rice, but he's that sort of player. Sorry, I had to get in there. He's that sort of player.
That's right.
Yes, that's the player. And then you can bring on Tanaka. As we said before, you don't have to necessarily have a starting 11. You just have to have a squad rotation. Bijal's another one, wasn't getting in the team, seemed to be the scapegoat or the one who was taken off first. And while he's not outstandingly skillful, he's a tough nut, and he wins so many head duels. And you look at the centre forwards we've been up against in the last few weeks. We've had Mateta, Thiago, any one of the Liverpool ones. And, he's kept them all. Thiago didn't have a shot. Mateta looked, Haaland, Haaland never got it. And all these players, this is the test for you. And I don't think it's a coincidence that they've been kept quiet. You're right about the teams in the middle. It's not that we got above our station, but they're 3-4 points, and they're looking at Bournemouth haven't won since the clocks went back, which somebody said. I thought it's a good analogy. And Brentford maybe got out of it the weekend. Fulham and Forest, I didn't know how I wanted that one to go last night. I think it was a free hit for us, but as long as we can grab a few teams and get excuse me, Lurgy's coming on, as long as we can get a few teams in between us and them and enough points, we'll see who West Ham have got coming up in the next few weeks, and look and see what I think. If we can come out of before the FA Cup and be the same or maybe a few more points ahead of the bottom 3, then that would be great. I'd take that all day long.
Yeah, we've 4 games before that FA Cup game. The next home game is Manchester United away. The next 2 to Sunderland and Liverpool, which won't be straightforward or easy at all. But Gerry, you talk about individual players in that game, and DCL is getting huge amounts of plaudits at the moment. Everyone's talking about him. Sky Sports, TNT are all ranting and raving about potential England call-ups. My personal preference as an Irish person is wrap him in cotton wool and leave him alone. Don't let him go play for England because he'll get injured and I want him to play for Leeds. But I'm biased. But he deserves this credit. I mean, he's got 6 goals in 5 games. He's got 7 in total this season. He's on a better run than his previous best run, which was at Everton under Carlo Ancelotti. But this service as well that he's getting is suiting the kind of play. I mean, Ethan Ampadu's long throws. One of the guys joked on the watch along saying Ethan Ampadu will walk off the pitch with arms like gorillas when this thing is over, from hoofing the ball into the box every couple of minutes. Yeah. But the service has been there for DCL, and he's been exactly where you want to see a number 9. And I think what he's not getting enough credit for, I think, is the movement in the penalty area as well, because he comes off the back of Adam Morton for the first, and he comes off the back of Mitchell for the second one. He just goes away from both of them and runs in on the blind side. And that's football and intelligence from an old school number 9. But how impressed have you been with DCL in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, he's been good. I mean, we were impressed with him before this scoring run. He was leading the line, but leading the line in the sense he was winning ball, but maybe not enough people around him. So the change in tactics has helped that. His ability to hang in the air is incredible, and it's up there with anybody in the world. His heat map for where he scored all the goals, it's like a little mushroom just between the goal and the penalty spot, which is where a striker needs to be, putting the ball in. And when you look at him, his first game against Sheffield Wednesday, and he missed 3 open goals and what have you, unfit and maybe not as sharp, and could have gone anywhere to where he is now. I don't think there's a game I'm thinking this guy's not up to, he's no good. Every game he's impressed me, and he's going to score and run like this. I think it's Mark Viduka is the last who scored this many, at least 5 and 5 when it's 6 and 5. Yeah, so goal scoring, he's up there with it. And I don't care who gets them, but a striker in front. And you look at all the strikers that have been bought in the Premier League this year, and Gorkez, was he 60 million? And he's 7 in. He's got 4 goals, 2 pens. Isak, who's out now for a while, broke his leg, but he's been struggling. And a lot of these players, and I think I heard you on Sky earlier. Well done, good coverage on Sky. And saying he's as good. I think Darren Anthony was saying he was up there as a striker 3-4 years ago and being talked about in 80-90 million pound striker. And he looks at, and he seems very confident in himself, and seems a decent guy, well focused, and he's saying things how you want to hear it. But it's the guys around him as well that are doing it, and that it's a team effort, and that's what everybody seems to know their place and doing what to do. Even the goalkeeper is looking more confident now. As you said last week, don't want to be Del Piero, but he's stopping shots. Made a good save from Eddie Nketiah early on, which I'm just taking crosses and being goalkeeper. He's doing the right stuff. So we can play on our 3 at the back, our midfield, guys up front, the full backs, the wing backs, and the guys who are coming on. The only thing, maybe we made too many subs at the end, and that probably, one that hits the post with Crystal Palace, and it's a whole different narrative. But hey, bit of luck. I was a bit annoyed the 4th goal because I backed 3-1, which was a bit of a pain. But you sort of knew Stack was going to do that. I just had a feeling. Had a feeling that he's just going to put this one in, and it was like payback for the Villa goal, wasn't it? And he took it well, and getting more confidence, getting goals under him, and we get people fit and we get players in, 2 or 3 in, makes all the difference. I think Pirro probably he lost the ball a couple of times, and one I think went for the penalty, and possibly, I could be wrong saying that the chance, and I nearly wanted him to be the penalty so he could score it. It was obviously outside. And let's not talk about the earlier penalty where Brendan was cut down. How's that not a penalty? I
won't rewrite history. I was doing the watch along, and when I first saw it, I went penalty. And then I saw the first replay of it, and I went, oh, maybe not. Maybe he didn't make any contact with him. And then I watched it again and went, actually, do you know what? Yeah, I don't think it's a penalty. And then there's just one angle where the ball appears to just take a little bounce on its own out of nowhere. And you're like, well, Aronson hasn't touched that. Maybe the player touched it. And then there's a different angle where it's Aronson's toe that just pokes the ball away and he takes him. And you're like, that's a penalty. Yeah. It took me a while to get to penalty, but it definitely was a penalty. And then the second one, would have been brilliant. But who needs penalties when you've got Anton Stack whipping balls into the top corner like that? We've got set piece takers. You talked about the stats on the strikers. There's a couple to talk about. Johnny Cooper again and LUFC Day to shout out for these. But Calvert-Lewin has become the 4th player to score in 5 consecutive Premier League appearances after Mark Viduka in 2003, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank in 1998, and Rod Wallace in 1993. And Anton Stack, I believe, Anton Stack has become the first Leeds player to score. First Leeds player to score 2+ direct free kicks in a single Premier League season since Ian Hart in 2002, 2003. The amount of stats that came out of this last few games that all relate to 2001, 2002, which was a very positive time for Leeds. You're hoping that that's the start of it. But when you go across the park, Gerry, we've got goals from set pieces. I had to stop the watch along just to bring everyone's attention to the fact that Lee Hendry in the middle of the commentary went, Leeds are very dangerous on set plays. I was like, just take a second to absorb that. Leeds United are actually good at set pieces, defending them as well. At no point did I think that we were under pressure when we conceded a goal. You go back 2 years ago, less than that, every time a corner was given against us, you were like, well, you may as well give him a goal here because that's like the point it's went to the net. But you've got goals from set pieces. We've got goals from, throw-ins, corners, free kicks, open play crosses now as well, balls through the middle. So there's a variety of goals there as well, which has been, I just, again, from my perspective, it's just great to see Leeds doing all the stuff that we just normally aren't great at doing. Yeah,
well, we used to have a game in the West Stand we had a count up for every time we got a corner. That's 93 without a goal. I think it was
Yeah.
over 100 from a corner. And he said, now look at it. And the free kicks again. We never score from free kicks. We didn't get a penalty for ages, but over the years. But the throw-ins and people were saying, Ampadu, he's not really got it. And then somebody said to me, his throw-ins never the same. And I said, well, that's the good thing, because if you look at Brentford guy last week, everyone on the same and everyone nearly Leeds cleared. And he's getting, and seems working on it. He's caressing that ball with the towel. It's, it's very, very tender. And then he's launching it. And, the knock-ons, a knock-on from Screech from Saved by the Bell that was playing for Crystal Palace to get, if you know Saved by the Bell.
You do,
and then the one from Bijol, and they were, it's dangerous. I reminded somebody, Rory Delap, when he used to take them. The man who invented it or was up there. Players used to put the ball out for a corner before they put it out for a throw in because it was so dangerous. And Ampadu's, every single throw in he took the other day was one that was causing them trouble. And long may it continue. Long may he vary them as well. Because and the corners, every corner is coming in from Stack. You think, why is there one of our tallest player taking corners? That's why he's taking corners, because he can bend them in and cause trouble. And I think a lot of teams looked at Arsenal and their set pieces and said, we need to concentrate more on this, and this will produce more and more goals. And I don't care how the goal comes, but if it's set pieces, it shows that stuff on the training ground's working. So let's have some more of that. I don't care if it's an OG goes in off somebody's backside, a 40-yard or from a set piece, but the evidence is there.
Yeah, it's about maximising your opportunities to score goals, and Arsenal were doing a great job of it. And there was all the talk at the start of the season of, do Leeds need a set-piece coach? Farke kind of downplayed it a bit, but then he said they had promoted somebody from within the ranks, and Eddie Raymer, his assistant, was working with that person on set pieces. I was speaking to Adam Pope after the game. I texted him just to have a bit of a chat about most weeks, just how the game went and how good it was. And we talked about set pieces, and he said that Farke bigged up Eddie Raymer after the game on the subject, and he said he referred to him as one of the world's best when it came to set pieces. So, and on the throw-ins as well, there is a variety to Ethan Ampadu's throw-ins, because some of them are being thrown in, they're zipping in really low and direct, that's quite difficult to deal with. And then the next one that comes in is a big, long, looped one that's coming in over the top of the players. So it's very difficult. And a lot of the flick-ons that happened in the game came from opposition players, because it's just pure panic. And it was interesting to see the faces of the Crystal Palace players come the second half, when every time the ball went out for a throw in near the corner flag, you could see them rolling their eyes of going, Jesus, here we go again, and then Ampadu would saunter over and grab the ball. You're like, yeah, go on. So, and even again, how we're changing our conversation, our comments about it as well. Every time we got a throw in those areas, I was thinking, chance for Leeds. Every single time, God, maybe Jesse Marsh was onto something with Rafinha a couple of years ago. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Maybe not. He didn't like wide, did he?
No, he didn't like wide at all. Yeah. Anyone throw a ball in, can they? Yeah, Rafa, you do it. But it's put us in a good spot. Again, we don't lose the run of ourselves. We're not foolish enough to think that we're flying up the league table, but we've given ourselves a chance. And Gerry, the next couple of games are going to be really interesting for Leeds. We've got 2 away games, and given Leeds' away record, 1 draw, 4 defeats in our last 5 away games. Now, there was signs of improvement against Brentford. You're coming up against a Sunderland side next weekend on Sunday that will be without 6 players for AFCON and Luke 09, and I believe they've got an injury to a player as well, so they could be without 8 or 9 players. Now, they still have very good players to come in there. Gutrauda, Enzo Lafite. They've got really good players that can step in for the ones that have gone. But it will disrupt what they're doing. And they've been, I suppose, inconsistent a little bit by their own standards of late. They've had 2 wins in the last 5, but there's 2 draws and a defeat in there as well. And they're not getting back-to-back results. Their 2 draws have been broken up by defeat. Their win has been broken up by defeat and a loss. So you're possibly playing them at a good time away from home. Then you've got Liverpool at Anfield, which won't be the same proposition that we had at Elland Road before we then bring Manchester United to Elland Road, which I actually, funnily enough, fancy us getting something against now. But those next 2 away games are going to be really, really important, because a couple of points in those, West Ham have got Fulham and a few, easier in inverted commas games coming up. If you can keep taking the points over, you keep that gap at the very least, keep the current gap that's there and you're lessening the amount of games.
Yeah, definitely a good time to be playing Sunderland. No guarantees, of course, because I think a previous, when we played Brighton, they had 7 players out and they beat us well. And Forest were coming off the back of a European match. So it doesn't always work. There was a big thing made of Palace and their fixture congestion, although none of those players played on the Thursday. So I think, we can have that element, but I think we can have the element that we're playing really well. And we've got a chance of taking something from this game regardless. And we've got to target that because, as you say, Anfield will be different. Although, even though Liverpool have had a couple of wins, they still look a bit shaky, And I think Spurs could have got at them at 2-1, could have come back like we did. So we got to make sure that game doesn't get away from us. But if we could win at Sunderland, that gives us a sort of, not a free hit, but Liverpool wouldn't be a disaster if we didn't get any points from that. But 2 points from these 2 games, yes, keep it ticking over. Hope West Ham Fulham is vital. Fulham obviously will be wanting to get away, but that would be West Ham. They're in disarray behind the scenes as well, and that would affect what's going on there. And Forest and some of the other teams drop in, but I think we got a chance against Sunderland, no doubt about it. And we could go down field and just hope for the best. Last time we went there was okay as well. And Liverpool played well in parts against us a few weeks ago, but we just showed that tenacity. And if we can produce what we did last Saturday night, why not? Why not? We get something from these games. It's just, as you say, we're getting close. Not close, but we're ticking the points to get to the right points total. And who knows what it's going to be. I mean, with a lot of teams down there and scrapping, it could be a high number of points this year, or 3 could just cut adrift. Maybe Wolves obviously are gone. Burnley just can't buy a win. And it's West Ham, the team we're targeting. So let's hope Sunderland's better this time, and let's hope there's no mad bounces of the ball in the last minute. And anybody going to that game, just remember, don't take any coins in your pockets because they don't allow them into Sunderland. It's a weird place. I'm surprised they don't take your belts and everything off you. It's very weird, and there's no sort of record of where those coins go. I'm not saying it, but last time I was there, they took coins off me. I never got them back, and I never got a receipt, and I don't know who they went to. But anyway, it's a weird place. But we'll see how it goes. We're up there next Sunday anyway, and we owe them one. They're safe, I think. I think they can relatively say they're safe, and they've done a bit of fair play to them. But maybe with these players missing, maybe a bit of that, but it'd be a great atmosphere. It's one of those grounds where they're a bit mad, and I would take that. And Anfield the same, although Anfield's it's a bit half and half scarfy as well. So can be a bit. So Sunderland proper. Yeah, it'd be funny if we took something off Liverpool again. It'd be hilarious, absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, we did it last time in the Premier League. Yeah, so you've heard it here first. The away sides are paying Reggie Slippery's squad's wages. So the petty cash from the fans.
Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly. Gerry, we've 19 points now, 17 games gone. 19 points at the halfway stage was the goal. 19, 20 points. Get to that 20-point mark. We're nearly there. You look at last season, and again, I know somebody will say to me, look, last season's last season. It's not the same. But just to give a benchmark, Southampton picked up 12 points all season last year. And we've got 19 already. Ipswich 22 and Leicester 25. So we're only 6 points off the third team to go down last year's total for the season. And then you look above that, Tottenham Hotspur 38 points, Wolves 42. Now, obviously, Wolves are probably gone this year already, but you're still probably looking at in and around 40 points to be guaranteed to be safe. And you've got probably much stronger sides scrapping in and around you this year down there. Do you have any concerns going into the second half of the season for Leeds? Or do you think that we've now got our way of play? Daniel knows his best 11, or at least his best base formation, although he says he doesn't believe in them, but base formation heading into that second half of the season, because we're very close to that halfway point and we're exactly where we need to be. Yeah,
we're on target, but I'm concerned because we're not there yet, and anything can happen. Teams can go on a bad run. It's Leeds. Anything can happen with Leeds. It could all change again if we don't win between now and the Derby game in the Cup, then and West Ham pick up points. It's totally different again in Forest. But we just got to worry about ourselves and just keep ticking off those points. And I think we're well capable of it. I think there's enough I think we've got home games against. Our home games aren't as bad. Last game of the season away to West Ham. Let's hope that's just a victory parade and
Dead
we're
rubber.
not going there looking for points. But if you when you look at the beginning of the season, someone said you need a point at West Ham to stay up, you probably would have taken it. But I don't want the nerves. I want to be feet up at the end of April, getting ready for Cup semi-final and final at Wembley. And we're safe in the Premier League. And if we can survive, that gives us, the cushion, more money by, get better players in, and it completes the cycle. And then you hope teams like Brentford, Brighton, Bournemouth, maybe have had their day and they drift into it. It's I think it's there for us, and the form we're in. If this was 5-6 weeks ago, he said, you would think, nah, I don't see it, not with this team. Where it is at the moment, we've got a great chance, but we got to keep going as we are, because it can change very quickly. And we know as Leeds fans, we don't get any luck. We have to make it ourselves. But hey, if we can get the noise at Ellen Road on Saturday again, under the lights, 8 o'clock Saturday night, not great, but it was rocking. And I think every week after a Leeds game, you read something. Everybody's talking about the Leeds atmosphere and the crowd and everything else. And it was bouncing. I took it through a few videos of the South Stand, and it was just a heave of movement, and all around the crowd. Even in the West Stand, they were standing up and singing a bit. So yeah, it's great. These are the moments you love. And in the Premier League, have we got 5 wins now? Another 5 wins? That's achievable, and a few draws. I'm confident going into Christmas, and I'm confident. But not getting carried away. I think that's where we are.
Absolutely.
And everybody's doing their job, and that's the main thing. And fair play to Daniel Farke. He's done well. He's not bit. I'm sure he listens to us, because he's done everything we said, and he's not. he's not bit, and he's without saying I'm going to change it. He's changed it. Without saying I'm going to do anything radical, he's done it. And that fair enough. If he doesn't have to hold his hands up and admit stuff. He just got to do stuff, and he knew. We all.
Of course he did.
Yeah, he knew, and he's reacted, and I'm delighted for him, because again, I was calling for his head. I thought he was gone. I was calling for his head, but I'm equally delighted for him, because he's had a couple of chances in the Premier League, and he probably wasn't going to get another one. And he's fair play to you, Dan. Keep it going. Have some cake and coffee with your turkey this year. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. He will enjoy it at the weekend. He's only a couple of points off his total with Norwich the first time they went down. He's already surpassed the second total when he lost his job there. So he's done better than his last time at it. The Sky Sports thing today, Darren McAnthony made a very good point about it as well, of saying this is probably his last crack at the Premier League, because if he got sacked by Leeds, who else is going to give him the job? But he said, but he's obviously identified it, and he's fixed it, and he's turned it around, and you've got to give him credit for that. And again, we've said since day one of this, praise and criticize in equal measure. We won't shy away from criticizing. We won't shy away from putting an opinion out there as well. But at the same time, I think we're generally fair and generally balanced. And we said the same thing. You either change the approach or you change the manager. He's changed the approach, and there's no need to change the manager. Last week, we labeled the podcast the new Farke bounce, because of what we've seen since he's changed everything, which, again, if a new manager had to come in, they would have done that. So he's gone and done it beforehand. So it shows a huge amount of self-awareness, which is a very positive thing for anyone to have. He's shown capability in being flexible and not being stubborn, which was the criticism. So, I mean, look, all great stuff. That's all we want, is that the badge on the front of the shirt is successful. And if he can get us there, great. No problems at all. But it's that last run of 10 games, Gerry, could be where a lot of Leeds points might actually come from. And it's a really interesting one, because you mentioned the home games. If you look at Leeds' last 10, home to Sunderland, home to Brentford, home to Wolves, home to Burnley, home to Brighton. So they could be the ones that get you over the line. We need 5 more wins, possibly 5 more draws. You could get 5 or 6 of them in that run alone. So at the end of the season's the one where you could definitely look at the points, but you just don't want the pressure to be on when you get to that stage. Ideally, pick up enough points between now and then as you can, and then do what we did in the first season under Bielsa. Use that last run of games to pick up the extra points and move up the table if you can. Yeah,
and the next few weeks, home to Fulham and home to Nottingham Forest. So they're games as well, and pick up some draws away. It's doable, and I think we got to be the favourites going into these games. Although the prices won't be as good on the betting. You know, I got 17-10 the other day. We were going to win. That was a nice 27 quid. It was nice.
I loved your message, by the way. In the middle of the watch along, I said, Gerry just texted me and he said he wants 3-1. And then I texted you after the game, well, there you go, you got 4. And you text back and went, I didn't want 4. I had 3 down. I had 3 at the bookies. I wanted 3.
3-1. Yeah. Oh, well. What can you do? I blame the dog. It's the dog that tells me. Yeah. And we. Yeah. I just need one of the centre halves because I thought maybe Pascal's going to take the penalty because I always have the centre halves each way. Yeah. And yeah, but I think Pirro would have taken the penalty. Probably.
I think he would have. Yeah. Shame for him. We'll talk about Joe next week when we start talking about the transfer window. As I say, folks, we will have a pod out on Saturday for the preview for the Sunderland game, and then we're back to normal next week again. So just nothing on Thursday and Friday this week for Christmas Day and for Boxing Day / St. Stephen's Day over in Ireland. Taking the break this year. Last year and every other year I've worked Stephen's Day, so I'm not going to do it this year. So we'll take the break. Plenty of stuff out there to consume in the meantime. There's all the reviews from the weekend, as well as there is the daily news content, which is out there. And if anything major does happen, we will jump on. But I would imagine, given that there's no major football on Boxing Day this year, it's going to be pretty quiet a couple of days. And then hopefully the next time we're doing this podcast, we're talking about Leeds United getting active and ready in the transfer market to try and get some players in nice and early. Gerry, any final thoughts before we wrap up tonight?
No, the transfer market will be interesting because all our ranks still come out again, won't it? And yeah, I hope it doesn't end the last. I hope we do bring some in. There'll probably some movement out as well. That'll be interesting to see. And now I'm going to just sit and relax, eat bad food, watch It's a Wonderful Life tomorrow, The Great Escape. I'll find that somewhere.
Great movies.
Life of Brian, and any biblical Spartacus, the greatest story ever told today was on. That was, yeah. And Spartacus, all this stuff.
Yep.
Eat party food, probably drink too much, and all that stuff. Walk the dog. What my thing at the moment is collecting wood. When I'm out looking for the wood burner, and it's like bags of wood coming back. I'm like Roy Cropper out for a walk with the dog with my bag. I don't care. Yeah, that's what makes me roll. So yeah, I'm looking forward, and happy Christmas to you and all the contributing. Well done, Joe. What a great year you've had. You're right up there as one of the best. Or as Father Ted would say, if not the best. Yeah. So
I appreciate that, mate. Thanks very much. And I will say it again, just massive thanks to everyone that supported us this year, to anyone who's contributed to the podcast or the YouTube channel stuff as well, to everyone who voted for us to get in the short list for the Football Content Awards as well, and then anyone who's just basically watched, supported anything that we've done throughout the year. It's been very much appreciated. It's been a really big year for us. It's been a great year. It's the first year we've been full-time at this, so fingers crossed we get enough work to get a second year out of this, and we'll see where we are. And I'm not working in Tesco this time next year. Not that there's anything wrong with working in Tesco. I used to work there. That's what I mean.
You'll be covering Champions League next year, won't you? Oh, I got carried away just for a minute. Yeah.
Don't tell Daniel that. We'll be in the press conference next week. Folks, enjoy the rest of your days, evenings, or whenever you're listening to this. I will talk to you soon. Massive thanks. I'll talk to you soon. See you later.